Hit the button, and now I'm hitting the intro.
Wow. Yes. Anytime you find an excuse to include Ernest P. Worrell in something, I'm down.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Firearms Friday, and we're going to talk about somebody with a gun in his butt.
Yes. Men always have the capacity for 10-year-old toilet humor.
I don't know I don't know how that's necessarily toilet humor, because I mean, literally, the guy had a gun in his butt.
Please, sir, enlighten us.
And okay, so let me just lay out a little bit of a roadmap for the show real quick. It is Firearms Friday. We're gonna do our normal Firearms Friday story. I've got a story. We're gonna talk about the story a little bit, and then we're gonna talk about some stuff that's upcoming and interesting. Specifically, we're gonna be talking about the Stop the Tires movement. And as soon as I get Cameron onto some speculation and commentary without me, I'll be adding some hashtags and whatnot to the video that, in retrospect, I should have done 10 minutes ago. But damn it, I've been doing a lot of crap this morning. It's been a fast and furious morning for me since about 3. So
Fast and Furious? So you illegally sold guns to cartels?
I did. It was awesome. Which reminds me, what state was it that just legalized cocaine?
One of the northern ones.
It was one of the northern states that also criminalized plastic straws.
I've seen that meme. I find it very amusing.
Irony is a special kind of magic. So, let's talk about this. Off-duty NYPD cop shoots man who attempted to carjack him in Brooklyn. Okay. Carjacking is a bad idea. Because let me tell you something. There are people who carry constantly. There are more people who are likely to be armed while they're in their car.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be amazed how many people do not carry on them all the time, but have a weapon in their car. And if you have a bunch of people that have a weapon in their car, on top of all the people that normally carry just a daily carry, that means that carjacking increases your likelihood to encounter a lawfully armed citizen who will not happily relinquish his property to you. And, well, knocking on an off-duty cop's door is just a little more fuel to that numerical fire right there. So, an off-duty NYPD cop shot a gunman who fired at him first during what appeared to be an attempted carjacking early Wednesday, authorities said. By the by, this article is from Wednesday morning, last updated at 6:32 a.m. So this article is basically right after the event occurred. This is fresh, y'all. The undercover cop had just left work and gotten into his car at the corner of East 87th Street and Foster Avenue in Canarsie around 2 a.m. when a 28-year-old man tapped on the driver's window with a gun. NYPD Chief of Detectives Rodney Harrison said at a morning press conference. Oh, don't get too far down. Cameron, can you still hear me? Because I just lost your video.
I'm coming right back. I can hear.
The officer pulled over and got out of the car, at which point the gunman fired once in his direction but did not strike him, according to Harrison. Our member of the service then pulled out his firearm, shooting several times at our perpetrator, striking him in the chest, Harrison said. I think they said he shot him 7 times in the chest. So, yeah, perpetrator got perforated. He was also hit in the arm.
SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, buddy. The unidentified suspect was taken to Brookdale University Hospital with life-threatening injuries, according to Harrison. Now I'm going to try to skip. I'm going to try to skip over this image for just a moment. I'm going to try to scroll past fast because this story. Whew, okay. The officer was not shot during the incident, but was taken to Mount Sinai Beth Israel for tinnitus, authorities said. At this point, authorities do not believe the officer was followed or targeted, according to Harrison. It also didn't immediately appear that it was obvious to the suspect that the driver was a police officer. The alleged carjacker had been carrying 2 guns and a knife. One of those guns was wrapped in a rubber glove and... I just have to pause for a moment and say this before I continue. The next words out of my mouth after this exact sentence are directly read from this report. One of those guns was wrapped in a rubber glove and shoved in his butt, according to sources. Photos from the scene show a gun wrapped in a bloody glove. Yep.
Boy, you talk about sometimes fact is just stranger than fiction. If we tried to make something up in this vein, when we say, no, that's too obvious, that would never happen in real life.
He had a gun in his butt. And a second gun, which he fired. And to make matters worse, I mean, we're looking at this pistol. It looks like, I can't, it's hard to tell from the image what size the weapon is, but it's clearly a revolver.
So we're not talking about like a 2-shot Derringer.
No, we're not talking about a terribly tiny gun. I mean, I have a .357 Magnum that's a compact weapon. My compact hammerless .357 Magnum fits comfortably in the palm of my hand. But that's the palm of my hand.
Right.
This is one of those. This is one of those hands that you stay slapped, right? So to talk about any revolver that's not like a novelty miniaturization, there are still some sharp edges on that thing where the cylinder protrudes from either side of the weapon.
I just can't help but wonder where you have to be at in life where that seems like a good idea. Like, I'm trying to picture all the steps that had to lead up to that.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Because you don't start with shoving pistols up your ass. Like, that's never the first step.
No, it's not. I am reminded of some horror stories that I heard from a buddy of mine back in the day who was a medical technician at a prison, and she was telling me about some of the nightmares that she encountered there, one of which included a man who, for the apparent sake of gaining some sort of masturbatory sexual pleasure, had inserted one of the handles of a floor buffer into his rectum and turned the floor buffer on.
Oh! Thinking
that basically it would vibrate and be like using a vibrator. It's
well, it vibrated.
It's a floor buffer. For any of you that have served in the military or any janitorial services, running a floor buffer, it pulls you around. You don't run a floor buffer. You hold on to it and try to offer meaningful guidance.
Yeah.
So after they removed his rectum from the floor buffer, without him, he had to undergo a reparative surgical procedure, which did not include the restoration of the then removed rectum. And yeah, so what you're saying, you don't just start there. You don't just start with shoving guns up your butt. There was the guy a coke mule. Hey, I could put coke in a balloon and stick it in my butt to get through security. Guys, don't put things in your butt.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I feel like I'm talking to my kids, you know. Don't put not food in your mouth. Spit out the cat.
oh, I mean, life of crime. This is why you don't do hard drugs, kids. Like every cliche ever, you know. Like, and besides, like, there's just some logistics questions. Like, if you need to access that firearm, like, how quick can you get at it?
Right.
I mean, I'm all for conceal and carry, but
But you'd have to be
damn,
the fastest draw in the East Village.
something like that.
So, and apparently this guy has a lengthy criminal history with at least 7 unsealed arrests. I'm reading straight from the report again. He has a lengthy criminal history with at least 7 unsealed arrests dating back to 2011, according to the police. The most recent bust was for vehicular manslaughter in April of last year. Krista asks, was it loaded? That we don't know. Steve says it's not a fast draw option, kind of like an ankle holster. And Lindsay says the sheer terror of the other guy when you rip a gun from your asshole should stop it. And St. Michael says you can't make this stuff up. And believe me, St. Michael, I have tried to make up stuff this disturbing to commit to film or to commit to writing for exactly the kind of laughs we're getting out of this right now. And you know, it's always a tragedy when somebody dies. Oh wait. No, it's not. Not always. When you hear people say it takes all kinds, I rebut. You see what I did there? I rebut the claim that it takes all kinds. In fact, we don't need this kind.
For so many reasons.
We didn't need this one for so many reasons.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to agree with Lindsay. If I'm ever in a situation where a man pulls a loaded pistol out of his asshole, you know what? I'm just going to run away. It's like Jar Jar Binks at the end of the Phantom Menace. I give up. I give up.
I don't know, man. After reading this, if I'm ever in a situation where I see a man reach down the back of his pants, I'm just going to draw on fire before I figure out what it is that he's hiding in his asshole. I don't care if he comes out the other side with some rainbow-colored luminar. I'm done, and so is he.
Why did you shoot him? Well, officer, you see what happened was.
I was concerned about his butt gun, officer.
Oh.
And that's right. We've just spent 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes, talking about a gun in somebody's butthole. That was special.
Yeah, I just, you know what? No, I'm going to stop because I'm just going to stop because it only gets more disturbing from here.
It could indeed. Oh.
Because I mean, just for starters, like if you're going to stick a gun up your butt, I can see how like the first inch or two wouldn't be that hard, but at some point in time, you have to commit, and you can't be sure that it's going to work until after you commit.
Okay, so We have Steve and Krista both saying they're laughing so hard they're crying. I'm glad I can do it, guys. I do try to deliver on that. In all fairness, I'm trying to get myself back under control right now so that I can switch topics, because there is a whole nother thing I want to talk about. St. Michael, to answer your question there, that you said unloaded, I would hope. Honestly, we don't know. We just don't know. Maybe, but nope, no clue. So we're gonna switch gears for a minute, which is also a pun, because we're gonna start talking about the Stop the Tires movement. Guys, I am behind this 100%. I freaking love it. I love it so much that we're doing some research on some technology and some and different mechanisms for multicasting. I'm having a conversation with some other broadcasters in the area. I won't mention them on this stream because we haven't finalized anything yet. I don't think they would mind, but basically we're talking about trying to do something substantial as far as broadcasting, making videos, raising awareness, anything we can do to get the message out and improve awareness to guarantee maximum participation in the Stop the Tires 2020 movement. Apparently there was a lesser piece of it on Wednesday this week, but the big thrust of it is to stop the tires, specifically around Thanksgiving and Black Friday. If we could shut down shipping around Black Friday, that would be freaking outstanding.
Well, back up, buddy. Nutshell it for us. Why is this important? What are we trying to accomplish?
Okay, so here's what's going on. Truck drivers, specific, obviously we're talking about conservative truck drivers. There is a movement amid conservative truck drivers, primarily because of Joe Biden's anti-fracking positions, that they're going to stop the tires the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th of this month. They're just not going to deliver anything for 5 days. And as you can see from this image here, this is think about this. We're not just talking about the backbone and lifeblood of our functioning economy being held hostage by a group of patriots for a good and patriotic reason. When you say truckers strike, they'll do slow roll convoys on major freeways. They won't just stop from delivering your Polly Princess, whatever bullshit toy you wanted to buy, and your 87-inch TV that you were going to riot and loot from a Walmart anyway. They're not just going to deprive the country of luxury items. They'll make you late to work. Like a week late. This is going to be something worth paying close attention to.
Wait, are they actually going to do that? So it's going to be an active strike as opposed to a passive one? Because my understanding was they were just going to stay the fuck home.
There's some contention and debate about that. I'm still not sure exactly how that's going to go. Some of them are talking about doing the slow rolls. Some of them are just saying, that they're just going to park on the side of the road. Some of them are saying that they have already stopped their tires for the rest of the month.
Damn.
So, something to understand about these truckers is a lot of them are owner-operators that do contracts. They don't work for a company directly. What they do is they bid on shipping loads. So, yeah, I'll take it for this. And they bid on loads and take them across country. Well, they can just not bid, or they can bid and then not deliver.
My wife spent about a year working for a logistics company that actually that was the middle point. That was like, oh, we have a load worth $1,200. Oh, we have a trucker that's only 53 miles away. Let's try and make a happy match and get 5% of that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's it's amazingly common for it to work that way. Um, I'd have to say that the rolling roadblocks I would have a problem with, um, and not just because personally that would piss me off, but because if you're going to do this, you got to have some strategy. You can't run off the people that would be your strongest allies. And if you've got conservative truckers that are trying to protest, making other conservatives who are actually trying to go to work late for work, I don't. I don't think that's good tactics. Just don't.
See, I hate to use the enemy's stratagems because one of the things that makes our enemies is that they do not share our values.
Yeah.
Um,
Next time I'm going to get a large coffee.
and I don't I I don't like being I don't like being in this world where political opposition means enmity rather than intellectual disagreement. But we've been brought to that place. We've been brought to a place where the enemy is burning our cities. The enemy is shutting down roads. Um, and if you if you're not going to adopt the tactics of the enemy when those tactics are effective, you must at least adopt their degree of dedication. So, like, I'm not down for using suicide bombers as a military instrument, right? When you talk about larger scale USA 4 versus terrorist actors around the world, I'm not down to suddenly have US soldiers employing suicide vests, right? That's not the level I'm talking about adopting the enemy's tactics. But when the enemy is engaged in asymmetric warfare, you must yourself become askance. You must yourself attack in the obtuse. You must yourself begin refusing to use existing entrances and snatching people out of their beds in the middle of the night, conducting hard interrogations, identifying the enemy, and eliminating them. Um,
I mean, I realize you're talking about art of war stuff, and I get that. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of that where Sun Tzu talks about how important it is to pay attention to your battlefield terrain because what wins you the battle in the grasslands can lose you the battle in the mountains and so forth. And I'm with you on all that. I'm just saying that part of the win condition is getting people on board with no, just refusing. I will not allow fracking to get fucked up. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. Because they've been pulling this bullshit with us with oil since before you and I were born. My
Peak
dad,
oil. Oh,
yeah, my dad had a Roadrunner, like an actual, not like beep beep, but like the car, a Roadrunner. That he got, and he loved it. He kept it in great shape. Like that was his badass car, right? And then he heard we were going to run out of Dino juice somewhere around 1985, 1990, and he needed to do the right thing and sell his car and get something more fuel efficient, and he did. And here it is, 2020. We ain't run out of oil yet. Um, so I get that it's important that we don't allow fracking to get shut down because you want to talk. please believe that's part of why this peace in the Middle East shit is happening. Okay, that whole OPEC oil cartel is quaking in their fucking boots that they're not going to get U.S. dollars anymore, and that not only are they not going to get U.S. dollars anymore, they're now going to have to compete with us on the open worldwide market because we can become a net exporter of oil. So it's time to play nice right now. Okay, but if we shut down our own oil industry, that's gone. The the US, and we've talked about this before, the US dollar is the single biggest piece of leverage in the world that is nonviolent. We can project so much power and force with our dollar that we don't even have to worry about how much power and force we can project with our military in most situations. It's
Well, and that's been one of the great victories of the Trump administration. We've had a presidency where we've dramatically increased our economic standing on the world stage, dramatically improved our our economy at large. For the first time in a very long time, over the course of the Trump administration, we've actually seen wages increase on average substantially, unlike the Obama administration where they worse than stagnated. Uh,
oh, let me be clear. You were, Barry. You were the whole time.
um, it's yeah. Barry was very clear. He was so clear, you'd have thought he wasn't black.
Oh, suddenly I'm thinking of the Hodge twins going, both my parents is black.
Guys, okay, just a quick aside. The other night, the Hodge twins were on Steven Crowder.
I think you've told this story on air.
I may have told this story on air, but we've got some extra viewers today. The Hodge twins were on Crowder, and one of them said, "We put the coon in conservative." And Steven Crowder looked at him, and he actually looked a little confused. He said, "Guys, there's only one O in conservative." And one of the twins said, "Yeah, but there's two of us. I'm about to die." Yeah, but there's two of us.
Yeah, but before this whole China virus, and it's funny. Joe Biden is in the pocket of China. China releases a virus that's very confusing, causes the entire world to shut down, and then somehow Joe Biden ends up president. I swear, man, the older I get, the more I think Alex Jones was right. It's pretty fucking terrifying. But anyhow, going back to the point, it's got to be about the fracking. And if we do things that cause our side to be hostile toward this movement, I'm still going to say that's bad tactics. And I get it. You have to adapt to what your enemy is doing. But you also have to keep the win condition in mind. A Pyrrhic victory will not be good enough here. Like, if you're trying to capture Athens, you don't want to actually burn Athens down because then there's not a lot to capture.
Correct. Correct. Um,
And did we ever get that internal thing in our group thread confirmed about the recount in Georgia?
no. Let me see. No new data on that yet. So we'll have to wait to report on that until we get some legit data on that.
Because if that's true, ooh, buddy, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a tease.
Uh-huh. And depending on on when and how that confirmation comes through, that might be a tease for an extra show that pops up before Monday morning. I think
I
I've got.
haven't
Go ahead.
I haven't caught up on Polytech. I've just been so tired at the end of every day. I can't stay up. I've been catching their show the morning after. So I haven't caught up on Polytech yet. Wouldn't it be hysterical if they already spent an hour talking about this last night, and if we had just watched Polytech, we'd already know the answer
And that may
to
be the
that
case. We
question?
just haven't gotten there yet.
Because I give Alex and
Because
Danny credit; they're good about bringing receipts.
yes, yes, absolutely. So I think that's about all I've got for this morning. You got anything else there, Cameroon?
Just we actually did a show about butt guns.
No, no, no. Just one butt gun.
I mean, one's enough.
I should hope so. I'm reasonably certain I couldn't fit one up my butt, and
I
I'm
mean,
and I'm even more certain that I will not find out.
oh man, is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
That's my
Oh,
butt.
oh Lord. Today was a good day. I mean, like, seriously. How did we do this? Oh, dear.
It's beyond me. All right, kids. Thanks for. Steve says you could, Chris, if you cared enough. Nope.
I guess I don't care enough then. Because where does that stop? It's like, I can get a 38 up there. What about a.
Danny
What
just
about.
joined us. Danny, we were just talking about bragging about Polytech, and you totally missed out on the butt guns.
And then, like, you move on to, like, I don't know, a 1911 single stack. And then, if that works, you, you continue to scale up until you've got freaking Desert Eagle. And then where do you go from there?
Where
Like,
do you go from there? I mean, eventually, this is your answer.
if only I could see it.
It's a Maudeuce.
I had a feeling it was going to involve butterfly triggers. They're one of your favorite things of all time.
Oh, I mean, did you know that your thumbs can get hard?
But yeah, that's all I got. Maybe it's time for the safety brief before we devolve into 10-year-old boys all
That's
over
right. All
again.
right, so it is Friday. It is Friday. That means it is the weekend. Y'all be safe out there. Make sure make sure you don't have any Democrats knocking on your door asking for votes because they're still trying. Don't drive drink. Don't fry bacon naked. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, butt guns, farm animals, and videotape. No two at the same time. Y'all be safe. We love you, and we'll see you Monday morning, if not sooner.
Butt guns. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being one of our most watched episodes of all time. It should be.